Chapter 20. The electric gate swung open slowly, and we drove up a long, winding driveway until we reached the house atop a little hill. Cousin Mike struggled to find parking in the carport because there was an assortment of smart cars tightly packed together: Mercedes, BMWs, Escalades, Audis, all manner of 4x4s, and even a solitary Hummer. Cousin Mike found a parking spot in the bushes as if embarrassed by his car. Jimmy got out and opened the door for me. I hesitated, but he reached out his hand, and I stepped out feeling like Cinderella, wondering just how much time I had before I turned into a pumpkin. Jimmy could tell I was nervous. Relax, they don't bite. Can we wait for 2 minutes? Go on ahead, we'll be with you in 2 minutes, Jimmy said to Cousin Mike. Just give me a shout if you need anything. When Mike had left, I nervously rearranged my dress. You look lovely. I've never been so nervous in my whole life. I flashed an edgy smile. Maybe you should have brought someone else with you. There's no one I'd rather be with today. Remember that you and I are millionaires. Come on, let's go inside. The house was a mansion with a thatched roof, oiled beams, and built of granite and glass. The floors were tiled in marble, and there was a fish pond with goldfish in the entrance hall where people were standing around sipping champagne. Dumisani, my son, come here, shouted a man who was already inebriated. Uncle Thomas, it's been such a long time, the two embraced enthusiastically. And who is this fine young creature you brought with you? This is Mumbai. We work together. If only our 40 years younger. Don't tell your aunt I said that. He kissed both my cheeks, and I could smell the whiskey on his breath. We were grabbed by a host of people who wanted to greet us. There were cousins, friends, business associates, church members, and all manner of others mingling and celebrating. I shook 100 hands and kissed twice that number of lips, which was not the traditional way. All this time, Dumi kept me firmly at his side, and I felt secure. A maid in a black and white dress with a ridiculous little hat came and asked me if I wanted a drink. I requested a glass of water for myself and some orange juice for Dumi. Let's go outside for a bit of fresh air, Dumi said after a while. Perhaps he was as tired as I was of listening to the lame jokes. We stepped out through the massive French doors. The swimming pool had been hewn into the bedrock, which served as the foundation to the house. The solar-powered pool engine hummed in the background. Look how the water seems to disappear over the edge as if you were extending into the horizon. That's called an infinity pool. Dad had engineers, architects, and all sorts of people come over just to make sure it was done right. Of course, it's heated at night, but no one ever seems to use it. Such a waste. It's beautiful. We walked down towards the edge of the pool from where there was a breathtaking view of the valley below. That guy over there, the house over there belongs to Strive Masiyiwa, the guy who owns Econet. Maybe you should ask him for unlimited airtime when he stops by later. We were surrounded by trees, and I could hear birds singing. I felt I was in the countryside. There was a clay tennis court just below us, and I was enjoying the view when I saw two soldiers in camouflage squatting in the bushes. What are those soldiers doing? My heart pumped, remembering how people had been beaten in the streets by soldiers during the last election. You mean those? Or maybe those ones? Or those guys over there? The place was packed with them. I don't know. Maybe there must be someone important coming. Don't worry, they're harmless. There had been soldiers in the streets and some manning the gate when we came in, but I haven't given it any thought before now. The wedding party came in just after 3 o'clock. I could see Dumisani tense up as if the prospect of meeting his family was unbearable. We walked towards them, but had to wait as they were having photos taken in the garden. The prodigal son returned, said Patrick with a huge smile. You have no idea what it means to us to see you here, bro. I didn't think you'd come, but Sungi said you would make it, and you did. The bride Sungi gave Dumi a kiss, and the three of them embraced. I wouldn't have missed this for the world. The whole family embraced in one large group hug around Dumisani. It was as if by clinging to him, they were trying to exorcise the demon that had plagued the family. The tenderness there almost moved me to tears. And what have we here? Said a short man with a mustache and a shiny bald head. Dad, I want you to meet my girlfriend, Mumbai, said Dumi. I was taken aback. He had called me his girlfriend. How was I to respond? Your girlfriend, repeated his mother, a tall woman who must have been a beauty in her prime. Then she burst into tears. I thought I had done something wrong, but how could I, just by standing there? Maybe I wasn't good enough for her son. Why should that even matter? I was not really his girlfriend. Should I correct the mistake? Come here, my child, she said, and embraced me. The whole family gathered around me like I was some sort of zoological curiosity. They prodded and felt me as if to check if I was really flesh and blood. I said Makadini Henyu, clapped my hands, and curtsied in the traditional manner. See that? She's well-mannered, not like these modern girls walking around the streets of Harare, his father cried triumphantly. The bride cast me a jealous glare as if I was stealing her show. A short, skinny bridesmaid wearing spectacles pushed her way to the front. She introduced herself as Michelle, Dumisani's younger sister. Get off her, people, you're suffocating her. God, she must think we're a family of weirdos. She grabbed my wrist. Let's get out of here. Wait, please. Let's get a photo taken with her, Jimmy's father said. If my day had ended then, with me on cloud nine, it would have been a success, and I would have been saved from the embarrassment of what happened later that evening. Michelle and I hit it off at once. She was 19 and had very white teeth, which dazzled you when she smiled. For a skinny girl, she had bumps in all the right places. She whisked me off to her bedroom, which was twice as large as my living room. Whilst there, she interrogated me about how I met her brother, how we got on, and the like. I answered the questions truthfully, and we had met in a hair salon where we both worked, we got on well, etc. She didn't delve any deeper into the relationship, and so I was grateful that I didn't have to answer any more personal questions until I had figured out just where Doomy and I were going with this. Let's go down. We have to meet and greet the others. Sorry. We have to meet and greet, otherwise people will say that we're arrogant twats. Michelle had a southern twang that was a result of having done her schooling in the USA. There were even more people down at the party, a mixture of blacks and whites, and I had heard a number of foreign accents. I got to rub shoulders with men like Nigel Chanakira, Mutumwa Mawere, Jonathan Moyo, Nicholas van Hoogstraten, and a host of others from the business and political world. Now I understood why the security was so tight. Auntie Grace, squealed Michelle, running over to hug a familiar-looking lady wearing a large veiled hat that looked like she was going to the races at Ascot. I racked my brain trying to remember just where I had met her before. Auntie Grace, I want you to meet my Marora of Mumbai. The lady shook my hand and kissed my cheeks. As she did so, I gave an involuntary whimper, realizing I was being kissed by the president's wife. How do you do, my child? I stammered, unable to speak. Mumbai is the best hairdresser in the country. You should let her do her hair, and maybe you'll stop hiding it beneath those hats of yours, Michelle joked. I didn't know whether to laugh, and only did so when the first lady laughed. If she is good as you say, then I would love that. Ring my office and we can arrange an appointment. Michelle led me away without my having said a single word. The first lady wants me to do her hair, spun around in my head. I was in seventh heaven when a familiar face came up to me. Mumbai, what on earth are you doing here? It was Philip, drunk as a fish, and bumping through guests as he staggered towards us. Hello, darling. He tried to kiss me and I moved away. Mavakuva Haira Manje. It must be because you're mixing the great and the good. He spilt his beer on the floor, trying to keep his balance. I swallowed hard and stared at the floor. Hey, come on, baby, what's the matter? He leaned over, unsteady on his feet, spilling beer on my brand new dress. As I tried to back away, he grabbed my backside. Let her go, you creep, said Michelle, trying to prise me loose. People were beginning to stare. Philip shoved her hard, and she went flying across the floor. This is my whore, and you should all know it, he shouted at the top of his voice. I started to cry. I've never been so humiliated in my life. Doomy and his brother Luke appeared from nowhere. Doomy set me loose and punched Philip in the face. The bully landed hard on the marble floor and spat out both front teeth. A woman screamed. The two brothers yanked their victim up and bundled him out of the room, leaving a trail of blood on the floor behind them. It seemed impossible that they had defended the honor of a girl from Butiriro when she'd been affronted by one of the wealthiest and best connected businessmen in the country. Guests were talking and pointing at me as if I was a circus freak. Michelle led me out of the room and guided me back to her bedroom. She kept asking me if I was all right and if I needed anything. I told her I just wanted to go home. For 10 minutes, she tried to convince me to stay, but I couldn't face all those people again. A chauffeur drove me home, and I felt more like Cinderella than ever.